Well, Diepsloot residents have expressed anger over the ongoing crime in the area. Community members have responded by setting alight homes and, of course, places from which criminals are allegedly operating. Our reporter, Manqoba Mchunu, speaks to the family of slain former CPF chair John Makula, who was gunned down while trying to help foil a robbery at a shop in Extension 13. He'll also catch up with the Manqoba family, whose mother was hacked with a panga and her young child shot. Manqoba, of course, devastating stories. It's so sad to hear this. And Diepsloot, of course, we know the protests have been going on, the march happening to the union buildings. President Ramaphosa now, it seems like he will be visiting Diepsloot. We're not sure if that is confirmed, but what can you tell us, and what are these families saying? How are they feeling?
Well, I can certainly tell you that a number of families here in Diepsloot, are still reeling following, of course, incidents of crime that has either robbed them of their loved ones or that has left, scars on their loved ones. Community members, of course, have been complaining about the issue of crime for a long time in this community. In fact, we've seen quite a number of protests here in Diepsloot where residents have taken to the streets and even targeting some of those, shacks that they believe are harboring criminals. This all in an effort to try and fight crime in this community. There have been quite a number of serious crimes that have happened in the past few weeks. Just looking at the 3 weeks that we come from, about 7 people that were killed in this community alone. So that just gives you a sense of the violence and, the crime levels in this community. And that's the reason why community members then taken to the streets in protest, of course, hoping that this time around there will be lasting solutions and that perhaps they will see more police visibility here in the area. In fact, this is one of the issues that they raised in that letter that they're taken to the union buildings. A delegation of about 11 leaders from the community, which included a pastor and some of the community members, went to the union buildings yesterday as a last resort, saying that they want the attention of the president. They want President Cyril Ramaphosa to come and address them. And the reason for this is because they say, the police minister has been in this community for quite a number of occasions, but still there are no tangible solutions. There are no lasting solutions to the issues of crime in this community. And so they want more permanent solutions. And this is why they say now they want the president to come and hear some of their issues. Just behind me, I just want to show you this, is one of the shacks that was burnt down by community members just 2 days ago when they took to the streets. They went street to street looking for those shacks and those stalls, the vendor stalls, which they say criminals use to hide when they commit their crimes, and where some of their spoils are also kept by them. But of course, community members deciding to suspend their protest, at least for now, while awaiting those, correspondence and, the engagements that they're hoping will come out of their trip to the union buildings. But I'm joined by one of the community leaders, Loyiso Toya, just to give us a sense of, what went on. Loyiso, thank you for your time. Izolo, you went to the union buildings as community leaders. You handed over a letter inviting the president to come to this community. But of course, it was not easy. You had to negotiate your way inside the union buildings. Tell us about that particular meeting and how did it go?
Now, it went very well. We had a meeting yesterday that indeed there were promises and there were commitment that were made on the side of government, but proper communication of when and how all these commitments that were made, will get that on Monday. But I can tell you that the meeting went very well yesterday.
What are you expecting on Monday? What is going to happen now? Because you've made it quite clear that you're not going to stop, these protests. You've suspended it for now, but you're saying that you want the president to come and address you as a community. What commitments have been given to you as far as the president coming here is concerned?
One of the commitments is that before the president can come in our community, we'll have an engagement with 4 ministers that are leading these 4 ministries that were mentioned on the letter. That is a first step in preparing for the president to come in our community and address us. So on Monday, we're waiting for the dates, how, when are we meeting these ministers, and also when do we think they can come in our community, address our community.
But do you think that the president is going to come, and what would it mean for people of Diepsloot if the president were to come here?
I'm hopeful. We are hopeful that the president will come, based on the engagement and the urgency of the matter of Diepsloot. We've been crying for quite some time. We even made an effort to go to Union Building peacefully, and we believe indeed the president will come. It will mean a lot to the people of Diepsloot, his presence. It will mean that indeed he's not just using us as voting cows. When we need him to come in our community, he's able to say, I'm coming to resolve your issues. It does not only come when you want election. Remember, in 2021, when we have local election, he came here and the park was packed because people of Diepsloot love the president. And now that is one of the reasons now they're crying out to him to say, Mr. President, can you assist your community? We are crying. You came to us when we were looking for votes. We went out and vote. Now we are crying. We voted for you. You are in power now. Come and assist your community.
What are the people of Diepsloot saying? I'm not sure whether you have engaged them. Have you given them feedback? And what is the response from the people as far as their issues are concerned, and as far as this march that we saw here is concerned?
So far, people are happy with the response that we have given them, but as per usual, we must call a broader meeting, because not all of them have this WhatsApp group that we communicate. Not all of them watch news whereby they saw what happened, transpired in Union Building. But so far, so good. Those who were able to engage and give their feedback to are quite very happy with the level of audience that we've got from Union Building.
One of your demands yesterday in that letter was that you want to see more police visibility. In fact, starting from yesterday up until Monday, when that engagement or when the meeting you're expecting with the ministers is going to take place. Have you seen any police visibility? Are you seeing police around? Has that been fulfilled?
Yeah, we saw some police around. But this one that you just saw, but these are the local police that we are complaining about. Who will come and eat inyama enhloko here. This is the same thing that we're complaining about. Vans are needed to attend emergency issues in our community. They will sit in places like this and eat. But indeed, we did saw some few police around TRT that is still around. Since they came during our protest, they are still around. Even yesterday, we heard that there was an action that was done by Home Affairs together with the police at Extension 12 and 13. They went in and many people were arrested yesterday. But we don't want people who are acting. We're not in a movie. They must not do that for a certain period of time, because now there's media. People are protesting. It must be something that is done now and again. We are not doing this because we want to appear on TV. We are doing this because we want to assist our community. So they must do the same thing. They must not act only when we rise and protest. They must do these things now and again.
And in terms of the deployment, you've called for a permanent deployment here in Diepsloot. What are you hoping for, really?
What are you hoping for is that we want a permanent solution. Hence, we've invited all 4 ministries to come and deal with their own shortfalls. Informal settlement, justice, home affairs, and police department. Because each one will blame one another when they've said, no, we've done our part. So if all of them can be told in one meeting, do your part, also do your part. So we believe that we can have a permanent solution.
Okay. Thank you very much, Loyiso Toia, who's one of the leaders here, just giving us a sense of that meeting that they had yesterday at the Union Buildings. They were met by the Deputy Director General, Matsietsi Mekwe, who, of course, they sat down to thresh out some of their issues. As you hear Loyiso saying that they want permanent solutions now because there are families who really are, not sleeping. We spoke to one of the community members yesterday, who was telling us that, not many people here are victims of crime, and they sleep with one eye open because they fear for their lives in this community. So they're hoping that there will be perhaps a lasting solution, a permanent and concrete solution to the crime issues in this community.
And of course, Manqoba, yesterday, Gauteng Police Commissioner, he said that, Elias Mawela, he said that, certain areas in Diepsloot, there's a concern that there's foreigners, that undocumented people that are there building shacks, and it's those areas that are riddled by crime, mostly in Diepsloot. Is that the sentiment shared by community members as well? Because we also know last year foreigners being a huge problem to community members there, and they're basically saying they want them out of Diepsloot. Is that still a huge problem there?
Indeed. In fact, when we spoke to community members during the protest, they were saying that, the root of the crime in this community are illegal foreign nationals that are here, that come to this community. Of course, this is one of the areas here in Johannesburg that is known as a transit area, where many of the people that would come outside the country would come to this community and, build in this community. So they're saying that the number of undocumented foreign nationals or undocumented immigrants in this community is quite huge, and these are people that they say are behind the heinous crimes that we're seeing here. Many of them, they are claiming do not have fingerprints in the system, and so really it's hard to track them. But what is concerning even more for community members is that when these criminals are arrested, they were arrested and made last year. They say about 2,000 arrests when the police had been deployed in this area, but as soon as the police are out of the area and as soon as these perpetrators go to court, they're then released back into the community. So that's the reason why they were saying that they want those illegal foreign nationals out of their area, because they say they are the ones that are terrorizing this community as far as crime is concerned.
Thank you so much. That's our reporter, Manqoba Mchunu, in Diepsloot, just giving us an update there. Of course, protests are still, happening there in that community, and some community members saying that they will keep on. They're vowing to protest until President Cyril Ramaphosa pays them a visit and hear and listen to their issues.